Well, how's it going, everybody? Good night to you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever it is you're tuning in. Hope everything is well for you guys. In case you were able to take a look at the title, you'll realize that we're asking a question and then we have some announcements at the end. And then if you check the description, you can kind of get a little bit more of a sneak peek as to what we might be saying later on. But without further ado, on this side, we have Jarvis. On that side, we have Trey. How's everyone doing?
What's going on? What's going on?
Good. Watching my Warriors. Finally, Chase Center crowd is actually kind of loud. To actually hear them when you're not, up on the volume at full blast. So I like that. But yeah, getting ready for training camp. Getting ready for training camp, watching the playoffs. Life couldn't be better.
Wait a minute, Trey. Did you just say that you can recognize when people cheer, even if the microphone or even if the TV is off and muted? Whoa!
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Maybe us Falcons fans can do that.
I got that. I actually got that from the fans. So it was one game. I was in the living room, and the living room TV is kind of like way louder than my TV, but my TV is way bigger. I don't know why, but I had the volume on like 78 or 79, and you can barely hear. You can hear the coaches more than you can hear the fans. Now the Lions game, I actually get that to them. The Lions game, they actually showed up, but other than that, I don't know when. And then last week, when I was watching game 3 or game 4 of my Warriors versus Grizzlies game, I could barely hear the fans on like 29, and then that game 6 game, I heard them with like on like 2, like the volume was on like 2, and I could hear them screaming and yelling. So, I'm glad we're getting loud, but yeah, you guys should learn from my basketball team. Very great fans.
Well, it ain't just that, but it's just like a fan base in general, right? Like you want to be seen cheering for your team, right? Like that's why you spent money to be there.
That's not the case with Atlanta, though, boss.
The only time they spend money on us is if we either Quavo or somebody's there, or we're actually winning. I mean, of course you want to have your team winning, but I see more Jets fans come to their games than I see a Falcon fan come to ours. Their franchise is the worst.
So we're gonna be digging in a little bit deeper into that kind of stuff, and what I have for us to take a look at is, well, before we do that, let's give ourselves a shout out to everyone that was here. So we got Floyd Donnelly, we got Jarvis. I wonder what's going on with him. We have Hucklebuck71. We have Bubba Gump from Twitch. We have Melvin Emery. We got Tony Wright. And we have Bowling Ball 99 linebacker. So thank y'all for tuning in. Hopefully I can shout some of you more out. Oh, there we go. There's Shane Elliott. How's it going? So one thing I want to pull up, and that is, let's see, I didn't get this in order, but let's see. Haha. Okay, so I am going to just read what is on the screen for you guys to take a look at, right? So in case y'all aren't familiar with this, what's being said, this is an interview that Jeff Schultz had with Arthur Smith. I don't know if it was like earlier this morning or whatever the case may be, but this is something that this was an answer that Arthur Smith had when regards to the question of, oh, well, let's take a look at the 2023 draft class. And, you have some quarterbacks over there, right? Maybe you can start taking a look at those ones, right? Trey, Jarvis, and you guys want to take a crack at what's being read on the screen?
So really, I think someone said this in the Discord, but I think this is what needed to be said. Really, it was just.
If you want to read it, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So in Arthur Smith voice. I'm gonna try to get that little Arthur Smith voice, the neat voice. Look like you're 60 at the age of 38. So this is a waste of your time and my time if you want to talk about the 2023 season. Falcons coach Arthur Smith told The Athletic Jeff Schultz in a recent interview. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Now, since let's just get that first part started.
Okay.
I'm glad that he's not paying attention to the 2023 season. Now, of course, you're not going to tell your fans like, yeah, we're paying attention. Like, we're putting all our focus on 2023 after 2022 season. Of course, you don't want to tell your fans that. But then again, you don't want to, what's the word? You don't want to be, to tell you,
complacent, maybe?
Yeah, complacent. You don't want to basically be expecting to lose games or forcefully trying to lose games just to go get a quarterback that you don't know will work. They look like he might work, and you hope that he works, but you don't know if he will work.
Or how about this perspective? Maybe you're scared to win.
Or that too.
Whatever meaning that might give.
So yeah, now
we lost Trey. We lost Jarvis for a second, but we can have him back on.
So we have So after he said that a team will try to not win football games. If you don't know, there's going to be consequences. Okay, you're at the top of the draft. I got it, but you're in a very transitional phase of the transactional. My bad. Of the National Football League right now. Trades in the draft, trades for quarterback. It's a different landscape than when Jimmy Johnson took over the Dallas Cowboys in 1989. It was pre-free agency, the famous Herschel Walker trade. They blew it up and went 1-15, and it was a long rebuild. That is not the same NFL as today. Back then, people would have given their firstborn before they gave their picks away. People are still going off old narratives, and it's comical. So, basically what he's saying is, if you Twitter GMs, please stop. He doesn't care. So while you can tell that he's seeing these comments, one, he doesn't care. Two, he doesn't care. I mean, I don't know if you can see it. He just does not care what y'all have to say, what y'all think. If y'all think this player is better, but he thinks this player is better, he's going to take that player that he thinks is better. And that's what I like to see. It's a very good mindset for a coach, because that's kind of what Thomas Dimitroff was terrible at. He kind of went off of what the other people said, or at least the fan base said, instead of going off his mind. I mean, he literally, I don't know if y'all don't know about this, but he literally asked Bill Belichick if it was right to trade for Julio. Why couldn't you just do that yourself?
This is from an NFL GM.
Asking another. He wasn't even. Was he the GM at the time, or was he just the head coach?
Bill Belichick is probably both. I mean, and if not, he probably delegates it to his dog.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was basically another NFL GM. You're asking another NFL GM that's not even in your conference, 2 in your division,
3 in your own league.
In your own league. Yes. But yeah, 3 in your own league. And you're asking him, should you trade for another player? Now, one good thing he set the trade for him, because, he gave us thousands of memories, but good job, Damien. But yeah, thankfully he hit that trade. But man, I'm glad, and I think even though Terry hasn't said it that way, because Arthur doesn't really care what he says during the time, he just says it. I think him and Terry have that same mindset, and I like it. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, if you if you guys have not checked out the interview that Tyrone had with Scott Bair, y'all should really need to check that out as they kind of go through every part of the roster. I know Tony Wright was like, "Hey, we need to discuss our current roster." Yeah, there's been conversations like that. There's going to continue to be conversations all throughout this off season. So don't worry, you're not missing out. But yeah, like with them being on the same mindset as each other, Scott Bair was saying like, "Hey, like I'm sure I'm pretty close to them, and yeah, they want that disagreements between each other. Like they don't want to always agree with themselves, and as long as it's in passion and if it's for the benefit of the team right now, then they're going to go with that decision, right? So their mindset is in the spot of, hey, I'm trying to talk about right now, right? Not to jump ahead of what Arthur was saying, but there's a moment over here where he says, hey, I want to win. I have an urgency to win. Okay? You're never promised anything. You don't know what's going to happen a year from now. And I'm not just talking about this job. I mean with health, in life. I'm not trying to get all philosophical here, but I like the makeup of our team. I like where we're going. We have a lot of guys who are hungry, guys who are competitive, guys who have one-year deals and feel like they have something to prove. We have something to prove. All right? I'm not really using his phrasing. I'm not really using his speech here because I don't really know how he said it, but the fact is he said it, right? And he means it because he's got nothing to fall back off, right? What if Arthur Blank was the type of owner that people wanted him to be, right? And they just started like firing them after like 2 bad seasons. Right? And that's what he's going to be if you have the option for him to tank. If you have the option for him to oh no, I'm going to have to lower my expectations because I'm so scared of winning. Let's move on to no, not that one. All right. So with this at the top of the screen, he says any good team knows how to rebuild every year. Right? This is how the top teams continue to stay dominant. All right?
You need me to read?
I mean, if you want to, but what I was just saying is, like this is how the top teams, they continue to stay dominant and not have these many years of just fallout seasons, right? That they can continue to be good and be competitive year after year despite the roster changes. That happens.
I mean, we literally just saw the Bengals go from 5-11 to 10 and
4-12.
4-12, 5th pick in the draft to Super Bowl.
Right, and that's another aspect of it too, right? We say 4-12 for the Bengals, but we also understand that they didn't have Joe Burrow for a good portion of the year. They were also trying to rush him into a situation where they were trying to, see what they can get out of him. And then there was that one fateful day against Washington, and yeah, he couldn't really survive it on the field anymore because of the problems that they had with their offensive line. But they know that, hey, we are not our record. We are not our schedule. We are our roster. We are our organization. We are our front office. And it doesn't matter what any other expectations are put upon us. We have an expectations within ourselves. All right? Are we saying 17-0 in Super Bowl every single year? Come on now.
This isn't the Miami Dolphins of 1972.
But what I'm trying to say is show yourself a competitive spirit. Okay? What I'm trying to say is, am I going to give out a record prediction? Probably not this year. No, because it doesn't matter anymore. Right? At this point, what is that going to prove? That it's going to happen? No. whether I say 10-7 or whether I say 7-10, does it matter what I say? No, it's not gonna matter at all. But what is going to matter is what's actually going to happen. And what we expect them to happen is for them to be competitive every single game. Okay? And a lot of people, they were really scared about the schedule. They were saying, oh man, this is one of the toughest schedules, and this is one of the hardest things, and oh no, let's just cower in fear from it, right? So let's just take a look at it. All right, we talked about this last year. Let's go a different perspective on it, right? So, because of how different we are, how many teams do you think actually have an idea as to what we're going to look like?
One.
And that is?
The Saints.
And that's who we face week 1. After that, it's a complete litmus test. Okay? How do the defending Super Bowl champions, how are they going to look at us? Whether we win or lose the previous game.
Like fresh meat. And the reason I tell you this, teams like so when you have a team that just won a Super Bowl because they had basically an all-star roster like the Rams, or at least close to it. When you bring back either most of those people or all of those people, they look at teams like us like fresh meat. Usually, those are the games they get put back in check. I'm just gonna be completely honest. It happened with the who was that? It happened with the Steelers back in 2020 when they started off 11-0, and they said, "Oh, the Bengals."
Well, no, it wasn't even them. It was Washington.
Oh yeah, Washington. Who are these people? Got lit up. Second week, they said, "Oh, that was a mishap." See who the Bengals? They getting ready to have a top 5 pick again. Saw how that game went.
And this is an 11-0 team that we're talking about from 2020, right?
Yeah.
Did they know? Did they know that did their fan base know that they were going to go into that season 11-0?
No.
No, they rode with it. All right, are we going to try to sit here and say, "Oh my God, guys, we're winning too many games"?
We shouldn't have done this.
Crap! Like, what's our draft going to be like right now?
Dang it! I wanted Will Anderson.
Man. Well, I guess we missed out on our franchise quarterback because we're winning too many games with our quarterback we have now. Dang it! How did this happen? Aren't we such failures? We can't even tank right. We're over here winning games accidentally. Is that the mentality we want to have?
Dang it, we made the playoffs.
Like, don't you want to feel good about the team that you have right now where you're alive to root for them? Okay? Like we said earlier with Arthur Smith's quote, nothing is promised. You know, not to be all grim and not to make this feel like an insult to anyone, but if you were to die next week, is there anything positive that we would have to say to remember you by? Think about it. Don't let this become who you've been. Don't let this become who you're known for. Okay? And since we have these 2 weeks to start off with, September 11th and September 18th. Next one, we go at Seattle, right? Okay, what do you think that they're going to do with us? Like, not trying to think about like a game plan and anything else. I'm not trying to compare rosters, but how do you think that locker room is going to feel about ours?
Like we can beat them.
Isn't that the same mentality you want your team to have?
I mean, that's what Robert Saleh had. Even like, that's the thing. When Robert Saleh took that job for the Jets last year, we all knew great head coach signing, but they were barely going to do anything last year.
I'll give you a better example. Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell, yeah, and they were about 10 game-winning drives from a playoff. Basically a playoff team.
Like they lost like miracle after miracle after mishap after just being straight up unlucky on several occasions.
A 63 yard.
No, 66.
66 yard field goal. Let's just let me just name a couple. Okay, you had a 66 yard field goal. You had what? What was that? You had
game-winning field goals against like the Vikings, and the Bears on Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
You had the tie with the Steelers.
You had the interception against us. And your defense was playing great that game too.
But you got to think about it. Like, I mean, heck, even the week 1, they played the 49ers all the way up to the final whistle. That final score ended up being 41-33.
And they were down like 30-something to 10
when like the final 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
That was a statement, like letting you know that, hey, this team eventually went on to participate in the NFC Championship game. And we did not lay down and let them have their way with us. We did not give up because of what they were trying to become. We fought because of who we want to be. Their mentality of the organization and the front office should match what we have as a fan base, right? I want you to rip this win from my hands. I would never want to try to give it to you. I don't care who you were. You should care who I am right now. And win, lose, or draw, you cannot say, you will not be able to say that we were a bad competitor. The minute you start thinking anything opposite of that, you can go on and leave the fan base, because that's not the ethos that we're trying to put here. That does not match any part of the team. Be incompatible all you want, but it should not mess with the majority.
You know what I like about, and so another thing that I like about what Terry and Arthur have done this season, even though they brought in some veterans, because you, as always, you do need veterans on the team or key starter veterans on the team. One thing I like, they brought in what a lot of people say about this roster is that we don't have a lot of stars. We don't have a lot of talent on this roster. That's why a lot of people have us going 4-12. Or not 4-12, 4-13. Most of these guys that they brought in are what? 24, 23, 25.
They can barely drink. They're like my age.
Yeah. Most of these guys either got coached up the wrong way, injury bug, or guys like Alden Tate, they got pushed out by a little bit better talent, or that never really got that chance. So he just got pushed down the depth chart. What's the key word? What am I trying to say by that? A lot of these guys are hungry to prove that they should have been a key part of whatever team they were on before. Brian Edwards, you just traded a pick away from him. Never really got used right. Who else?
Damiere Byrd.
Damiere Byrd. I mean, even though he's been like a kind of a field flopper, he's still hungry to go out there and improve himself. I mean, him and Casey Hayward was one. That's it. I don't care what the schedule looks like. I don't care what people think about us. I don't care if people think we're in a rebuild.
Look, Damiere Byrd is a field flopper journeyman. Isn't that the same thing that Cordell Patterson was for last year?
Yeah, Cordell's been on like 5 teams in the past 6 years. He had the Vikings, the Bears, the Patriots, the Raiders, and us. That's 5 teams in 6 years, yeah. And then he got drafted by the Vikings too. So
Welcome back, Jarvis.
Hey, gentlemen, how y'all doing? Hey, sorry, my wife just got back home, just flew back in. I'm gonna just spend some time with her if I can. I apologize, y'all.
Nope, gotcha.
All right, thank you again, boss.
Yeah, have a good night.
Hey, too.
good guy, good guy. But yeah, but like I said, like Casey Hayward, Demir Burr, even Grady Jarrett, and one of the and AJ Terrell. It's like, and not even that. Hold on, let me not to go off sidetrack. But you know what I hate about these reporters, man? They
What is it
asked,
now?
they asked Drake London, they asked AK, they asked Desmond, they asked Troy, they asked D'Angelo, they asked every draft pick they had. Well, what do you guys think about being in a rebuild? Seriously? That's what you tell to the new dudes? Yeah, what do you guys think about being in a rebuild?
So you guys already know that you're already indoctrinated in your head. You're going to go 3-14, right? We didn't have to tell you.
Like seriously, like Jesus, like, and then it's like the rookies got more class than them. Like, well, I don't care what it's like. Drake, Desmond, AK, Trey. It's like, okay, I don't care. Let them think what they want to think. We're gonna go out here. We're gonna practice. We're gonna do our job. We're gonna show why we can win more games than people think. That's the ultimate goal. That's why you have guys like Desmond Ritter, those leaders on there that says that when he said in an interview, if all 53 guys on this roster when we start playing, or all 48 on Sundays or whenever we play, don't believe they're the best guy on that field, we're already at a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe if the 48 players that you put on that field don't believe they're the best player either at their position or on that field when they play, you're already at a disadvantage. Because if you think somebody's better than you and you got to guard them, or they're guarding you, or you got to block them, or you got to, get to the quarterback behind them, you already screwed yourself. You messed up yourself.
And it's stuff like that trickles down to like who we are, like what reputation that gets put upon us. Because we're the biggest talkers of our own team. Is our fan base, just as in general. The organization and the team itself is not going to speak as nearly as often as we will. So we're the biggest representations that other teams get to see from them. And what do we say? What do we often tell about ourselves? Oh man, you guys are the most toxic. You have the worst fan base in the sports. You have the worst fan base and the most toxic fan base. And people are just like, so? Like, did you seriously miss the point of that? The problem is that you're not supposed to have a terrible fan base and a toxic fan base. The point is that you're supposed to compete with the team and make themselves seem like, no, that doesn't not describe me. All right? If you want to split me from this, let me be my own kind of fan then. Because I'm trying to set a difference. I'm trying to make sure that people see me as the type of fan that I want to be, and not just the negative Nancy's over there that want to cry and whine and complain about every little thing that we do. All right, oh no, we didn't take this player, we didn't sign this player, or we have this player. It doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is that when September comes around and on Sundays, and if you still want to have this mentality that, oh no, I don't see us getting past any more than 3 wins, you can get the heck up out of here.
Go be a Bears fan. That's what your boyfriend is anyway.
No. They switched and now they're Titans fans, right?
Oh yeah, my bad. It's crazy because we've been signing a lot of Titans and Bears players too. That's also another thing. These quote unquote, why are we signing the wrong guys from the wrong teams? Guys. One, some of these players used to be key role players, like the Jermaine Fetty. The year that the Bears went to the playoffs, Jermaine Fetty was their starting right tackle. That year, they had the best. They had one of the best run games in that year. Most of the time, where did Tariq Cohen and Howard go? To the right side. I think it was like a 40. It was 48% to the right, and then a couple of the rest of the left in the middle. But they ran to Jermaine Fetty's side, so it shows that he can run block. But it, like I said, like and Rashaan Evans too. One of the key members on why they made the playoffs the last 2 years. Even though he may not show these flashy plays, he may give it. I'm not gonna lie, he may give up a couple big plays too. Yeah, he is a little inconsistent, but he's still not just a hard-nosed linebacker. He's also a leader. That's when you listen to those interviews that he used to, his teammates used to have about him on the Titans YouTube. They say he's a great guy, great leader, and he leads the defense a lot. So,
And you know what? I was actually trying to do some research on Jermaine Fetty. I went to let me see if I can show it to you guys actually. And you can continue. I'm just gonna go back to Jermaine Fetty real quick.
all right, yeah, you know, and who else was I about to go over? Cordell. Wait, was Cordell on the Bears back in 2018, or is he still on the Patriots? Oh, wait, no. Yeah.
2018 was Patriots, yeah.
Yeah, he was still on the Patriots. Because that was the year he nearly had that kick return touchdown in that Super Bowl. Yeah.
So, what I'm going to do what I did last time. All right, so this was Jermaine Fetty. And I wanted to take a look at, because you were saying about the season that the Bears went to the playoffs, that would be the 2020 season. All right. So 1,029 total snaps out of playing every game of the season. He had a rushing blown block rate of 1.7%. That is fantastic. Out of 1,000 snaps. And only had 5 penalties of the entire year.
Jesus.
Only one of them were holding.
I think Kevin McGarry had more penalties in 2 weeks than he had in that season last year.
Yeah, he can get that in 1 quarter.
Oh, yeah. Wait, no. That Saints game, he had like two holding calls, a false start, and then,
and a partridge and a pear tree.
Yeah. And then he also had a clipping call on, and it wasn't even the person that was supposed to be worried about. That was Chris Lindstrom. He ended up getting Matt hit, and then he had a clipping call on the D tackle. What are you doing?
And also,
one person
out of 669 snaps, which was the most snaps he's had in a single season so far, he gave up 2 sacks. Who was his quarterback? Wasn't he kind of a mobile Wasn't he kind of like a mobile, stockier quarterback that had a bit of mobility to him? May or may not have had some accuracy issues in the past.
Mitch Trubisky.
And then run blocking, right? You were saying that the heck, he actually has a negative penalty. That
so basically what that means is he didn't get any penalties in run blocking, like no holding, no clipping, no illegal like man downfield or RPOs. He was basically a clean blocker.
But also, he never got stuffed either at the line of scrimmage too.
He never got stuffed. So, to be honest, if he started over Caleb McGarry, I wouldn't be mad. I mean, he seems like the better right tackle, because when he went to what was he playing? Right guard or left guard last year? I think it was right guard. When he played right guard, he wasn't that good, but put him at right tackle, that man's a different beast. And I think the reason for that, he's kind of like small for a lot of offensive linemen, or at least like a tackle wise. He's not the biggest guy. I think he's like, how tall is he?
Who?
Jermaine Fetty. How big is he?
I think they have him listed at 6'5", 325.
So he is kind of big. He may be more. He may be like, you know how those like some big right tackles are like more agile than they are powerful.
Yeah.
That sounds like him. Because when he played at guard, he was kind of hot dookie, or at least in pass blocking. Run support, I don't know, but in pass blocking, he wasn't that good.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna move him back to right tackle and have him compete for that spot, I mean, because he's not gonna play right guard if that's what he was in Chicago.
Right.
That position's already locked up.
And left tackle, if he could play that, that's locked up too.
Yeah.
I mean, he could play left guard, but I don't want to put. I wouldn't want to do that to Jamin. Like, yeah, he had a terrible year, so we're just gonna bench you, forget your progression, forget your.
Well, you
confidence.
say that, but we also drafted Justin Safer.
Oh yeah, so yeah, that's the competition he has. And Schaefer ain't no slouch either. After the film I saw on that boy, he's a great run blocker, and he's huge too. I think he like 6'6", 267, 3. What 3?
Yeah, he was a bit difficult to
Move.
Yeah.
Now pass blocking, I don't know because those Alabama games he did give up a couple of sacks, but it's Alabama. It's my guys. Come on, we do that to every offensive line. But yeah, but hey, to be honest, like if you can work out, especially with Arthur Smith, and he knows what to do to these guys to get them in shape. I mean, you kind of saw the transformation. Week 1 and week 2 of last year, they were hot garbage. Week 3, it's like Arthur Smith said something, did something, said he was going to do something. I think they gave up one sack in that Giants game, or one or two. They went from giving up like 12 in the first 2 to 1 in just 1 week.
Yeah, like maybe Ojulari got to Matt once.
Yeah, I think that was the strip sack. Yeah, that was it. Other than that, Matt Ryan was basically clean that game. It was just his 6 feet wide receivers were getting locked down.
Well, on their tippy toes.
On their tippy toes, yeah.
All right. Well, now we will work on ourselves another guy. How's it going, CJ?
What's going on?
All right, great to hear from you. Glad you can join us. So we were just getting into, we kind of just got out of the conversation of how our mindset should be. What was your thoughts on what our mindset should be as a Falcons fan?
Well, as you know, we spoke in the Discord about it. I get where he was coming from, but I don't think our mindset should be that. Our mindset should be every year we have a chance to go compete for a championship. It's just that simple.
Right. I mean, what I was saying earlier is that, yeah, I'm not going to try to put a record on them because at the end of the day, that record that I say is not going to matter at the end of the season. All that matters is the mentality that they go through each and every week. And that mentality that, that I think that they're trying to develop over here is, hey, I need you to take this win away from me because I, for dang sure, I'm not going to hand it to you. You take a look at any single one of those interviews that the rookies had that Trey mentioned earlier, not a single one of them is okay with tanking.
We shouldn't be. I'm so tired of our fans saying, "Oh, let's just tank for picks. Let's just stop winning. Let's just take for picks." Like what? Like I'm going into the season. I'm coming in to compete for a championship. I don't know about no tanking. I'm going to compete for a championship in this SM.
Okay, because there's no one other than myself that's saying, "Hey, I can't do it because I accidentally won too many games."
If a coach says that, they need to be fired instantly.
I mean,
and what are you saying, Trey?
Oh, I was saying, I think this is a week before last week. Texting in this Falcons group chat, he was like, "We need one more tank year, so we can finally get it together." I'm like, what do we need to tank for you? Like, Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. I'm like, one, you don't know if those two are going to fit the system. Two, even if you do tank, what pick are you going to get? What teams are going to be that bad next year to where you can't get those two? Because we've seen it before. Seen the Dolphins. We just heard about that little, paying the tank, and then they ended up tanking, and then Brian ended up winning in too many games to where they can only get two of. But
which is who they wanted.
yeah, who they wanted too at that spot. But yeah,
Who
it's
said which
like,
who they wanted? That joke.
Yeah, like they had this whole thing about we're gonna tank for Tua, but it's like, oh man, do we have to get it? Do we have to get it number one in order to do that? No, you got him at pick 6, which is even cheaper.
or 5 because Justin Herbert.
Something like that, yeah. But still, that's an even cheaper contract that you have to give him.
Because you weren't gonna give him you ain't have to give him no $37 million at least, or 38, whatever Joe Burrow got.
And the other people that you have in your roster, maybe they can fight them. They can fight their way out to another roster spot for another year. They can live to see another year on their career.
I mean, really, that's what Grady Jarrett extended his contract here for. We all know Grady Jarrett is not going to be here for another 10 years. Okay, most D tackles retire at the age of what Grady is right now, if not a year later. He's signed to be here for at least another 3 years. So he's going to be to what, 32, 33. He's not trying to tank. He's not trying to waste a single year of his last good years trying to tank for the future. He's going to be out there, and he's going to be trying to win. And I hope I don't even know. I think that is the mindset that Arthur and that team has. You can tell it's rubbing off on Dez, because Dez is like, I'm not coming out here to tank. You can tell, like, that man said, look, I respect Marcus Mariota. You gotta give respect where respect is due, but I'm not trying to come out here playing pity patty with Marcus Mariota. I'm trying to come out here and win the starting job.
Yeah, I mean, look, what did he say when he was drafted?
They don't effed up. It shouldn't have taken this long.
Boy, that's how you come into the draft with confidence, right? He said they're going to get a Super Bowl out of me.
Like, when was the last time we had a Falcons pick say that for us?
The last time we had a Falcons pick come somewhere near that was when Takk McKinley said he was going to make his grandma proud.
All right, and then let me rephrase this. When was the last time a third rounder told us that kind of expectations?
Oh, never. Ever. Not even actually no, because we never taken the quarterback in the third round the past couple of years. But any
we ain't
third
taken one since 2013.
Yeah, but any third round pick, they never said like, yeah, they're gonna get the Super Bowl out of me. That's what I like to hear, son.
And like, hey, if you have that fire, who are we to stop you?
I just like how this draft class is just. I don't know if anybody else feels this or it's just me, but it just feels like they're confident and they're not coming in like I'm a rookie. Like they're coming in like I'm a player. I'm an NFL player, and I'm confident about what I can do.
Hey, count us all up in that party.
I mean, most of these guys really came from working hard to get that starting spot. I mean, Desmond literally told us he went from having to compete over a redshirt senior, basically having to compete over a senior and a junior in college to get his spot, and then having to compete over another senior to get a spot. Both of these during his freshman year too. And then he knows another thing. He knows half of this fan base doesn't like him. He knows they wanted Malik. You can see it in his face. You can tell by the way he talked to the media. He could tell half of these fools weren't even in the stratosphere of thinking, let's take Desmond Ridder. Now, of course, people talked about it because, one, everybody expected us to take a quarterback. But I can guarantee you at least 50 to 45% of the fan base thought, if we're going to take a quarterback and Malik is still available, we're going to take him. It didn't happen. And like I said, you can tell he knows that this fan, at least a good percentage of this fan base doesn't like him, and I'm glad it's not bugging with him.
Just so I can ask y'all this, by the way, how did y'all feel about the fan base saying, "Oh man, Malik was right there. We should have took Malik."
Retard.
All right. Well, let me be a little bit more nicer.
I ain't gonna lie. Thing I was like, wait, he was going to be a first round pick, if I'm not mistaken, this year or last year.
He was going to be a top 10 pick, actually.
Dude, people had him picked at number 2.
Oh yeah.
Wait, you got a number 2 pick, and you're gonna take a quarterback that scrambled all year and doesn't have any throwing ability?
Well, we're not going to sit here and say that he doesn't have any throwing ability, all right? Even I would know that, right? Like he's got some throws on the run, but it's just everything he does was so out of pocket, and the bad habits that he would have, where he would just like he would not be able to trust his O-line, and he would not be able to trust the O-line that we would put in front of him right now. All right, not dissing on anyone else, but I'm just saying, like, he may already have that internal thought that it's not good enough for me and that I need to make a play outside the pocket. And sure, we can probably scheme that for him, but that's a lot of work for, like coaches' installs and all these other packages and all these other formations that they have to come up, all for a quarterback's habits that they're trying to break out of. With Ritter, he can go through his progressions rather quickly. He can go through and make these kind of throws, right? Is he always accurate? No, we understand that. But from the footwork, which can look really good at times, his poise in the pocket, his trust in not only his offensive linemen, but also his receivers when he anticipates the throws, all the way up until the release of the football. Everything looks like the next NFL quarterback. And also, by the way, he can run too, in case you're worried about that, as he posted like one of the fastest, if not the fastest, 40 time at the combine. So if you want all that kind of stuff, and you realize that there's the other player that's also right there that is less work for a team like us to have to deal with, less expectations because of what we just talked about. And also, he's likely going to be the first quarterback of who we're talking about to actually get the show and prove themselves to us. Because I don't know how the heck Malik Willis is going to try to take the job of Ryan Tannehill right now, but Desmond Ridder has a shot at taking Marcus Mariota's job before week 1 even happens.
Mainly because of that leadership.
Yeah, and that's something they both possess. So it's like,
I just didn't get what was the problem. Like he's a quarterback, he can scramble. What is the problem? And then what y'all wanted?
There's your answer.
Thank you. Perfect answer.
See, I mean, people don't think I'm black, and I tell them, hey, if Mike McDaniels can pass as a black person, why can't I? So that's all I got to say about that. And there's a lot of different ways that we can spin this conversation about what our roster looks like and how to feel about it. But the point is, it's all in a positive mindset. It's all in a competitive mindset. Like I said, you have to take these wins away from me, because I do not want to see this team on Sundays, Mondays, Saturdays, Thursdays, whatever it is they play. I don't want to see this team give up in front of my eyes.
I'm so tired of seeing us do that so many times. Almost like it's almost like we go out there and if it's like it's not working, it's like we just like, yeah, we'll just try again next week.
I mean, that Cowboys game kind of showed that when they forced that fumble against Zeke, or at least the defense. Yeah. They forced that fumble against Zeke in the second half. I was like, okay, at least they're showing they're not just like, maybe we shouldn't let them score any more than we already have, or that Bucks game. That Bucks game right there showed me that they have some fight in them. I mean, to come back when it looked like, you're down 28-10, they're Super Bowl champions, you're at their house, Tom Brady's on fire. And then everything just started clicking, even though it didn't really go our way in the fourth quarter, they never stopped trying to win that game, no matter how far they were down.
Whoa, Trey, wait. You mean to tell me that we faced the Super Bowl champion team in week 2 at their spot? We were down by a lot, and we fought?
Yeah.
With a worse roster than what we have now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind
Really,
of crazy.
In
really,
the first
really.
week of a coach's career? Of the second week?
And really, we were a Russell
After an
Wilson
embarrassing
drop.
showing to the week 1 opponent?
Yeah. Getting blown out 32-6. And really, to be honest, we was what, a Russell Gage drop from driving down and scoring again?
Or maybe like a Fabian Moreau dropped interception.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Or maybe a called kick return back on the second half.
That was what happened. We dropped the interception.
Yeah, I think Fabian kind of jumped the ball and he had it in his hand and then he dropped it. Like
He missed some interceptions.
He just dropped it.
That was like at the Bucks goal line too.
Yeah, like before they even scored that Mike Evans little fade ball, right there, just dropped it. Fabian really got on my nerves, man. My God, it was like one play he'll do good, and then you gotta wait about a week or two for him to do something else good.
Well, take some solace in the fact that we have Casey Hayward across from AJ Terrell.
Now Isaiah Oliver is back, manning down that slot position. Jalen Hawkins and Richie Grant in the back. Grady, Ebikadi, and Lorenzo. And then I'm hoping Dion and Rashawn to be our 1 and 2 linebackers. Oh, yeah, and Vincent Taylor at the nose tackle. Ooh.
And Anthony Rush still.
Yeah. And really, that sounds like a good starting unit right there. Like, when you really put that together, the potential that if you coach it that right, the potential that defense has is top 10 worthy. Like, really. You got 2 ball hawks and 2 hard-nosed safeties in the back. You got your lockdown corners. You got your good you got a Pro Bowl linebacker. And then I think you have a near Pro Bowl linebacker in Evans. You got your D-line. I mean.
And we just have some fun choices with Troy Anderson. Just anywhere.
Put him in a edge rusher, middle linebacker, outside linebacker.
I saw someone in the chat from Montana wanted us to talk about him a little bit. Yeah, Javier Bustos, maybe you're still watching. Well, shout out to you. But yeah, I mean, he says he sees him being Luke Kuechly 2.0, and that don't be surprised when he starts playing better than the linebackers that we've been rooting for the past couple of years.
I mean, he said he wanted to. I mean, like I said, a lot of these guys that be drafted and that be bringing from undrafted UDFA, they come in here like, I'm ready to take someone's spot. I'm ready to come in here and just prove myself, and that's what Troy Anderson said. Like he ready to come in, even though he's trying to learn and get his footwork together and learn a linebacker a little bit more. He's not waiting around trying to get his spot given to him. He's trying to take someone else's and earn his. That's what I like.
By the way, I wanted to ask y'all about that. Do y'all think Dion is traded? Do y'all think he's gone?
I don't know, because it's going to be kind of hard to trade him this year, even after.
I'm hoping not. Then,
Whatever the decision they make either way, they've thought this through, and they've thought this in advance, right? There's contingency plans with them. There's contingency plans without them.
Yeah, that's true.
So, even if we were to take the option of trading, at that point it's all about like, oh hey, like what's another team willing to give up?
And are they even going to want him?
Yeah, so unless that part of the conversation gets revealed, and then we start to realize like, hey, like, oh man, like we can try to trade Deion Jones for a 6th rounder. It's like, whoa, pump the brakes here. Like if that's the market, then no, I'd rather keep him.
They're basically
But
trading.
we've seen this with freaking Matt Ryan earlier a couple months ago. It's like, hey, like we may think that these guys are too good to get rid of, and then if they thought of a plan, then we really can't say.
Yeah, that just kind of it didn't catch me off guard, but it was just like I woke up one day and it was like, oh, Matt Ryan could be traded today. I was like, wait, what?
Kind of popped up on everybody, to be honest. I mean, you go from Mike Garafolo saying, he'll take an understanding, he'll be in Falcons uniform, to the man literally reporting he got traded for a 3rd rounder. And the 3rd rounder ended up being a good pick,
Yeah, D'Angelo Malone. Just like with the Seahawks, they traded Russell Wilson and got themselves a premier tackle.
Addition by subtraction.
In a way. So I think as about the time we're going to wrap this up. CJ, do you have any final thoughts?
I just wanted to tell just the fan base kind of what you kind of started the show on. Just we're going to the season, have a positive mindset about everything that's going to happen. Cuss will be made, of course, in the preseason, but I like the team we have. I think that we can shock a lot of people this year. I mean, that's just me. I mean, I think this team has a lot of talent. So
a lot of unproven talent too, which is even better because now, like we were talking about earlier, teams won't really know how to game plan against us. Trey was saying that it's like, oh man, the Falcons are without stars. Maybe look at the jersey I'm wearing, and maybe think again about the statement that you just said. So if you think about the positions that you can put anyone really anywhere is because of Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot's mentality of playing positionless football. Heck, you can see Troy Anderson line up at quarterback and not feel out of place. You can see Avery Williams line up at running back and not feel out of place.
Right? He said he's going to have some trick plays for Avery. I heard that they got that man lined up as kind of like the Jamal Agnew of hybrid corner, special team, offensive players.
Yeah, we saw Felipe Franks line up at tight end because his brother is a tight end.
We did? Oh, we did.
I thought he was going to play that this year, low key, but they put him back at quarterback, I see.
I mean, we've seen that a little bit, going from quarterback to tight end because you're a little too big and can't throw that well.
I remember he had the preseason hype. It was so many fans going crazy.
Yeah, one run.
You want
to drive on a drive where they didn't even score.
There was it was like a juke move out the pocket. He runs up, jukes another safety, and then nearly outruns another cornerback. And then proceeds to throw, when we get in the red zone, proceeds to throw about 3 straight bad balls.
Like, we didn't even get a field goal that drive after him running like 51 yards down the field.
I know we did, but we got to like the 15-yard line. And that was it.
And I don't know if anybody noticed, but while he was running, like 2 plays before that, he had an interception the defensive back really should have called. That should have been a pick.
So, but no, this was the player that everyone wanted to get behind. Okay.
He's on
we understand where the priorities lie.
Hey, look, they said that Felipe Franks was gonna start over Matt Ryan. They said that he was gonna be the QB1. They said that, they need to bench Matt Ryan and let Felipe Franks be the franchise quarterback. They was really on the hype train.
And if we're just talking apples to apples here, don't you kind of think that Desmond Ritter has the similar skin tone to that of Felipe Franks?
He basically is the same.
Basically.
He could be Felipe Frank's brother if he.
So it didn't matter to him, but it's mattering now. All right. What do we know at the end of the day? So, Trey, you have any other final thoughts?
Ooh. This hour went by very fast. Just be optimistic. I mean, there's nothing really else you can do. This just thinking your team is going to be bad it's got to stop. If you don't look, if you see Jaguars and Jets fans and Texans fans being optimistic, the least you can do is at least be optimistic or come to the games. I think we literally have the least amount of tickets sold out of the past 2 years because you idiots won't come to the games. I mean, I understand, if you can't make it or money tight, but people still go out there,
Fans would find a way.
Tailgate.
Fans will find a way.
Yeah, do something. Support them on, live stream the game. Support them when they, support them on Twitter or something, good touchdown or something. Instead,
post your own tailgate in your front yard or whatever. Be the biggest Falcons fan on your own neighborhood street.
Go break a table like the Bills.
Yeah, they get hyped for their game. They put people through tables and everything.
They throw all sorts of stuff on the field too.
And we like our fans love talking about we don't win, so where are we supposed to tailgate? Do you see the Jets every opening game?
Well, those fools out there packed. You think the fools in the playoffs every year the way their fans be out there?
You would swear they went to the Super Bowl like 5 straight times.
And this comment right here, that's all you can do. Buy a ticket and get loud. That's all you need to do as well. Because both of those steps are what we've been missing for the last couple of years.
It really has. Our stadium be empty.
If you can sum that up right there, right now, and that's all you can do, buy a ticket and get loud. That is all you have to do. Like this might be some things for some people that might be easier done than said. So it's all about having the proper mindset. All right. Now, since we're going to close this off, and appreciate you, CJ, tuning in with us, kind of taking placeholder of Jarvis for us earlier.
Oh, no problem. I got to get up here more. I be falling asleep.
All right, no problem. We're gonna close out the show for a moment, and then I'm just gonna mention a few announcements for us. So,
Okay.
All right. All right. So, and don't worry, I didn't kick him off. Just, but yeah, for right now, just speaking about me and Trey. For those that are still listening and tuning in, we appreciate it very much because this is going to be our last show, our last stream that we would normally have at this hour. We had a quick conversation about it, so it was a good thing that it was kind of painless in a way, where we didn't have to kind of pry each other into thinking a certain way. So for me, everything is getting a bit too busy for trying to do this on the side of everything else that I've been trying to do. I've been trying to say yes to everything because I want to be helpful, right? And one of the ways that I'm gonna have to do that is I'm gonna have to, sacrifice a little bit more of my time elsewhere. And this is going to be one of the things that really is going to have to suffer from it, unfortunately. I don't know how often I'll be in the chat for the other streams as well. So I'm going to try to be there if I can and support the show, support the people that want to support the Falcons, and do all that sorts of fun stuff, right? But as of right now, I can't do the show anymore. Trey can't do the show anymore. So because of the amount of time that it takes, like not just for this, but the preparation that I have to try to put and the research that we have to try to dig into every single week, because we want to, maintain our reputation, whatever that may be. But so if this is going to come as a bit of a surprise to you and you still want to follow along with some of us, Trey, maybe if you want to give them some of your socials, if that's all right with you. But for me, if you're going to follow me, in the description of what's below, I don't know how often people check out the descriptions, but there's a link to my channel. I'm gonna try to, so I didn't get a little bit more consistent with that. The problem is that 2 videos into my channel, and my wall no longer was able to support my TV, and it nearly fell off and broke all of my gaming consoles. It didn't happen, but I was scared of having that be the case on Monday. So I'm trying to get into a bit more renovations. So I don't know how quickly I can get the next video of what I'm going to do. And if you want to know what I'm going to do, you can check out the video and see for yourself as to what I've been brewing up in my head for a little bit. Trey, anything else?
One, this is not the end. We're just taking a little basically a summer vacation. We'll probably be back around week 1, if not week 1, really week 2.
I'm hoping a little bit before that.
Maybe, probably even a little bit before that. But talked a little bit about it. I'm gonna be a little more busy, focusing on football more, and getting ready for high school, of course. After I get cleared out of this concussion, I'll probably be playing 7-on-7 for my high school team. So I'm gonna have to put time for that. And of course, in high school, there's practice every day, not just on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So of course you got that. And then you got school and a lot of other things. So, like I said, not really the end, just kind of like a break to get everything.
Just a hiatus.
Yeah, like a little off season. This is our off season right here.
Yeah. I try to be consistent. I wanted to make sure that I can keep a streak going, because I started doing this back in, like early September, maybe like late August. And I was hoping that I can do 52 weeks in a row of the show with no stoppage in between. And believe me, I've done this show like tired as heck. I've done the show when I was sick. I've done the show when I was hurt. I've done the show when I was drunk. Okay. But I still wanted to be consistent, and I still wanted to provide all that I could. So I'm running out of time with everything else, because I'm trying to, on top of being the best that I can be here for you guys, I'm also trying to be the best that I can be for people that are actually, kind of closer to my life. So in order for that to happen, sacrifices need to be made, and this is one of them. So, but until next time, again, we really appreciate you. At this point, you guys should already know where to find us. And rise up. Peace.